I need to find sources of my own happiness and joy. I can't waste my life sitting around, waiting for someone to come along or something to happen. I keep thinking changing locations will solve my ennui, but it follows me because I'm not living fully wherever I am.
This video is going to be different from anything I've ever put out on YouTube before. I'm going to be more real, raw, and honest than I've ever been, and that I have even been to most of my close friends. This move to Lisbon has not been easy. I'm in the midst of a significant life transition, having lived in Asia for the last 5 years, and now all of a sudden picking up and starting over in a completely new country where I didn't know anybody, where I don't speak the language, and I find myself feeling lost and alone and very confused. And I just felt like I wanted to record this video tonight because I think it's important to put this message out there that while, you know, you see someone's life that can look outwardly glamorous, and certainly that's the way that I think my life looks in Bali, or even being able to travel the way that I do. It's not easy emotionally and psychologically, and I have kind of come to look at this little community that I've created here on YouTube that follows this channel as like an extended friend and family group. And I just want to share how I'm feeling in hopes that maybe if you're also ever going through something like this, you know that you're not alone, and that to feel this way is normal, I guess. And I don't know, I've just always felt the need to share things in my life. And this is no different. You know, I don't only want to show the good things, but I want to show also what life is like truly. So you guys might know I came to Lisbon for the first time ever in November, and I came here already with the intention that I wanted to start a new life, that I had been in Bali for 4 years, 2.5 years not leaving the island during the pandemic. And you know, it's like I realized I'm in my 30s now, I'm still single. The outlook for me in Bali romantically is very poor, and if I don't want to die alone, I've got to get off that island and I need to start a new life. Because while the life that I've built in Bali is beautiful, I have a nice home, I have people that work for me there that, you know, make my life very easy. I spend my days going to the gym and playing tennis. You know, this is not a life that is normal for someone my age, and it's not a way that I could just see myself going on indefinitely. That I feel what I need at this point is to be in a place where I can make more connections with people, because this is really the richness of life, is interpersonal relationships, and I want to focus and invest in myself into finding a partner, a relationship, because it embarrasses me honestly to say this, but at 33 years old, I've never been in a serious romantic relationship. I've had many lovers, I've had people come and go for my life, but I've never had anybody who has stayed for a long period of time. This is partly due to, you know, the weird way that I've lived in a very itinerant way, but it's not just that. I think that I really don't know, actually. I don't know why I'm still single. It's something that I'm struggling with. It's something that causes me great sadness at times, and that, you know, feeds into a lot of anxiety that I have. But it is actually the main motivation for me moving to Europe, is that I felt like here I have a better chance to meet people my age who are interesting, who are smart, who have things going on, and to a large degree that's been true. I've met far more people, you know, over the last couple months here in Lisbon than I would have met in the same time period in Bali. I don't want to get, you know, deep into a conversation, you know, comparing Bali to Europe, but, you know, as a young gay man, Bali is just not a good place to be, and it's getting worse. But if you even put aside the politics and the society of Indonesia, the issue with Bali is that you have either tourists, staying for a short amount of time, and unfortunately, I don't think I've met a gay man in a very long time that believes in romance, that, like straight people, that you could just meet someone on an island when you're both on vacation and keep in touch and some romance builds and someone is willing to move across the world for someone else. Gay men are not like that because sex is so free, easy, and on demand that there's always someone new to come along. So as much as I would love to believe in fairy tales, I'm not so naive anymore, unfortunately, at least about gay men. And the other kinds of people, are locals, and I dated a Balinese. I've, dated other locals, and there's just such a gap in culture, in everything, that it's kind of impossible. And I have never met anybody in Bali that's like me, that's my age, gay, and an entrepreneur, someone who, lives the way that I do. You have, I guess, a few digital nomads here and there, but it's a very different kind of feel to them than me. Like, I'm someone who was actually established in Bali. I was a resident of Bali. I shouldn't be using past tense. I'm still a resident of Indonesia. And so anyway, there's just nobody for me in Bali. And despite all of the comfort that I have there, I decided to make my life a lot more expensive and a lot more difficult by moving to Europe. And there are these moments, I'm recording this video on a Sunday night after this weekend where I've just spent almost the entire weekend by myself, and I'm starting to get depressed and think, like, did I really move here for this? To just be sitting around in my apartment where I could be sitting around in my villa in Bali that costs less than less than half of the rent for an apartment in Lisbon. And it's honestly very hard. I don't know what I should be doing here, because I'm in a very weird transition kind of phase right now where I don't yet have my residency visa. I have to leave in a couple weeks to go back to Bali to actually apply for the visa. So I don't want to go full steam ahead with decorating and buying things for this apartment. I've already spent a couple $1,000s on just kind of the essential things to be comfortable here for my stay during this last few weeks that I've been here. But these are kind of temporary things even that I know, and I'm fighting with myself, don't go and just spend money today on clothes, don't go spend money on things that you don't need. But the reality is that I feel this kind of emptiness, and oftentimes materialism is a way to sort of temporarily fill that existential black hole that's in my soul. But I know better. I know that I shouldn't be doing that. But without it, it's like, well, what is there for me to do? And then I get into this spiral of, I have nothing to do, but I'll go to the gym, so at least I work on my body in some way. Because again, my main goal in being here is to find a partner. And because of my neuroticism, I always feel like, well, if I look better, if I have a bigger body, if I'm more handsome, then maybe I'll find a partner. And this has, been my philosophy for my whole adult gay life, and has led me down a path of extensive cosmetic surgery and, being obsessed with my body in general. And the reality is that I'm still single. So this obsession, and the amount of money that I've spent on plastic surgery has not given me the kind of result that I really wanted. And either it's that I've had all of that work and I'm still not handsome enough, or just that I'm not, or maybe that's not the problem. I really don't know. I met a guy here that I have great sexual chemistry with, that I like a lot. And there's just a mismatch of the kind of energy, because I have nothing but free time. And so when I meet someone like that and I get excited about it, I tend to fixate and obsess on them, because I just don't have anything else to distract me, and I don't have anything else that's exciting that's going on except for that person. But I can't have the expectation that they can devote as much time to me as I would be able to devote to them. And again, just it starts to get bigger and bigger in my mind, you know, because I have nothing else going on. And this is a big problem that I think is really the bigger issue of what I'm trying to figure out right now in my life, which is how do I fill this vast amount of free time that I have? Because most people spend 40 hours a week working. I don't even know how much time I spend working, but it is negligible. And even what I do, it never feels like work to me. It just feels kind of like, oh, well, this is what I'm doing. I have something to do today, you know. But when you own a business, I'm not a laborer, so it's not intense. And again, I just have all of this time, and I'm often or almost always by myself because my work is solitary. I manage my business from anywhere in the world. The people that I communicate with, it's, you know, via WhatsApp all over the world. And, you know, in the face-to-face interactions, it's very limited, and it's not even something where, for example, I want to go in a co-working space because I would just be sitting there with nothing to do. I don't need to sit at my computer. It's very confusing. And when you're in that kind of situation, which is, I guess, almost like what a retiree would face, imagine being like 65 when you have enough money and you don't have to work anymore, and you kind of have to decide, all right, well, what am I going to do now in this phase of my life? You know, I just, you know, will live for my own enjoyment. And I think a lot of people in that position, maybe they have children or they have other things. Me, I don't have anything and I don't have anyone. It's very hard to say that out loud and to admit it. But I am very, very alone, and I don't really know how to navigate that at this stage. You know, throughout my 20s, I was really working to build my business. I had that goal in my life, was to be self-sufficient and to be free, that I could live anywhere in the world. And then by, you know, 29, I had accomplished that. I mean, kind of even earlier, by 27, I had left the United States and moved to Mexico because I had my first contract on the Home Shopping Network, and I had achieved, you know, what I had been working for since 18 years old, to live life on my own terms and to do something that I love. And I've been living that way now for many years, and, you know, my life has gotten materially better every year, especially since, you know, 29 or 30, you know, the last few years in Bali. Like, the kind of rise in my lifestyle was dramatic, you know, to the point of living in a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom villa by myself with a pool and with staff that did everything for me. And now I've moved to Europe. I'm in a nice apartment that's much more expensive than what most people who live here can afford, especially who are my age, you know. The average wage in Lisbon is something like 1,200 euros a month, I think, and my apartment is 1,800 euros a month. So I know that I'm very lucky and privileged. I mean, I'm not lucky. To be honest, guys, I worked for this. My friend told me the other day some quote that, it's funny, the harder I work, the luckier I seem to get. But anyway, it's not about that. I guess I live in a very privileged way vis-a-vis many people. But even this is like, I can't help but compare myself to other friends who have much more than I do. My friends in the United States who've started businesses and who are the same age as me, and I'm still working to get, you know, to get further up this ladder and to really achieve, you know, the kind of stability and the kind of wealth that I think would at least make me feel secure. I always feel like the rug could be pulled out from under me at any moment. That's kind of the precarity of being an entrepreneur. Especially, I mean, I'm a small business owner. I'm not a millionaire. I mean, I've created a business that is probably worth $1 million, but that doesn't mean that I have $1 million in the bank. So, you know, there's just so much uncertainty, I feel, in my life at this moment, and not much to cling to in terms of things that give me a sense of purpose. And I really need to find now a new sense of purpose in my life. I really need to find some kind of direction, because I feel as if I'm wandering in a desert and all there is around me is horizon, and there's no direction to orient myself because everything is just emptiness. It's a very strange feeling, and I've never met anybody that can relate to what I'm going through, because everyone that I've met is still working to get somewhere and to get something. And for me, my biggest priority in life is just to meet someone. I really feel that if I were in a relationship, that it would help a lot of my anxiety and a lot of my existential ennui, because the times in my life when I have been with someone romantically, however fleeting it was, it's as if my life transformed from black and white into color. And in those moments, everything was more joyous, or everything at least was heightened, because when you like someone, there's the highs and the lows that come with that, of course. And I have certain issues with control where it's very hard when someone else is in control of my emotions. And that's what I've been going through, especially this last month, where there's this guy that I like, and when I don't get the attention that I feel I really want, it transforms my whole everything. My energy is low, I'm upset, and I don't want someone to have that power over me and use it in this way. And even though I don't think, for example, he's even using it in a conscious way, I just think that he doesn't have the time. Like I said, I have so much time to dwell on things, to obsess over things, and it's not healthy. And I need to work on myself to get to a point where I'm at least doing things on a consistent basis that bring me joy, and that my joy is not only coming from one thing, in this case one person, and whether they deign to give me attention that day or not. So these are really hard realizations. I think that the reason that they're coming up is because I have no distractions here in Lisbon. In Bali, I have staff that comes in and out of my house. I have my dog. I have a certain routine, like playing tennis, that if I don't want to, I don't have to face these things head on. But here, I'm just by myself in the quiet of my apartment all the time. And I'm smoking a lot of weed, and it's made me very introspective. And I can't run away from it any longer. I really need to change my life. I need to find the kinds of things that will bring me happiness on my own, that don't depend on someone else. So I don't know yet exactly what those things are. I just know that I want to use my creativity and I want to use my voice, because I love to connect with people. I love having this channel. I'm very proud that this little channel that I started 4 years ago, in a moment again of solitude, when I just felt like needing to connect with people, has grown now to 4,000 people. And while that's so tiny in the YouTube stratosphere, it's something that it's like, we've come together, the 4,000 of us, and who watch, you watch for whatever reason, but it makes me feel good, and I don't feel so alone knowing that there are people who are listening to what I say, and that when I'm sharing, I feel like there's a sense of purpose behind what I do in my life, that I can go somewhere by myself, but if I bring the camera, I feel like I'm bringing people along with me, and I really value that. And it's something that I think I want to explore more and find out, how can I share in an authentic way that people can get something out of, whether it's enjoyment, whether it's knowledge, whether it's whatever it is. This is something that brings me authentic joy, that I know that I can just do by myself, that I don't need anyone else to do. And I don't know, that's it, you guys. I'm really glad to have you. I'm really glad to be able to share this story and to share with you and to put it out there. I don't feel so alone when I share these kinds of things. So I genuinely thank you from the bottom of my heart for being along with me on this journey, and we'll see what the next chapter brings. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and until the next time, take care, and I'll see you later.